I have two very interesting laptops with me here today. These two laptops are from the latest ASUS Vivobook S OLED lineup, and this is the 14-inch version in mist blue color, and this is the 16-inch version in the neutral black color. They are highly affordable for what it has to offer, and I actually like them both a lot. So in today's video, we'll be going through what these laptops have to offer and also talk about the differences between these two, because there's more than just the size difference alone. But first, I have a favor to ask from you guys. Please do hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button as well, because we don't have any sponsors and that will really help us out a lot. So thanks in advance. Let's get started with the specs of these two laptops first. They are both running on the latest 14th gen Intel chips, and they are available in both the Intel Core Ultra 5 125H and also the Intel Core Ultra 7 155H configurations. Both of them are powered by the latest Intel Arc integrated graphics as well, and the RAM across all configurations, as far as I know, is with 16 gigs and at 7467 megatransfers per second speed. And if you're familiar with laptops, then you already know how they achieve this speed. We will talk about this later in the video. Now, both of these laptops also come with 512 gigs of SSD as well. The performance coming out of these two laptops are seriously not a joke. We've already done another gaming test on a Core Ultra 7 155H a few months ago, so you can watch that video at the top right corner there to know more. In short, the Intel Arc integrated graphics is just very powerful, and I'm impressed by how much FPS we can squeeze out of this chip. The screens on both of these laptops are amazing. They are 16:10 in aspect ratio and using an OLED panel, and also certified by ASUS's in-house ASUS Lumina OLED standard. That means they both can just reach 100% of sRGB and DCI-P3 color gamuts. The maximum brightness on both of these screens are also about the same, and also nearing 400 nits of full brightness, which is actually very good. I even brought out the 14-inch with me and sat outdoors with indirect sunlight and used this laptop. It worked really well, but the reflections are a bit of a problem for me, so I have to tilt it at a certain specific angle to not get those reflections, and that is an expected problem for a glossy display like this one. But the displays have a huge difference between the two laptops, and that is the screen resolution. The 14-inch is using the standard 1920 by 1200 pixels at 60Hz, whereby the 16-inch version is using a much higher resolution 3200 by 2000 pixels at 120Hz. I honestly don't mind the difference here, honestly. The resolution is a good bonus, but a rather unnecessary one, especially 1080p on a 14-inch screen is still plentiful to this day. The refresh rate is kind of unnecessary here on a laptop, because when you use it on battery, then it will automatically change back to 60Hz to save power anyway. The ports on both of these laptops remain the same, and I'm glad that they come with two Thunderbolt 4 ports. However, that HDMI port is actually a HDMI 2.0 port. And yes, these laptops are charged using a USB-C charger. I thought with these laptops and these specs, they're gonna use at most 65 watts, but turns out they can suck up to 90 watts of power. Even the 14-inch version can go up to 90 watts, and I'm actually surprised by its power consumption. This goes to show that the Intel Core Ultra chips are kind of power hungry, right? I also want to talk about the design a little while. These laptops are using the exact same design language, and the 16-inch is, well, literally just a larger 14-inch version here. It has the same thickness of 1.59 centimeters at its thickest point, and yet they are all metal, which is something that I really like. They are just very solid laptops. Now, with such a thin laptop design and such a high power consumption at its peak, that means this laptop will churn out a whirlwind when we are playing any games on it. Seriously, those fans are loud, and they are the same on both the 16-inch and 14-inch. As for the keyboard, it's great. It's bouncy, it has good travel distance, and it's just very fun to type on. Now, the 16-inch version has a completely different keyboard layout, as it does come with a physical number pad. If you have use for it, then good for you. But personally, I don't prefer to have a number pad on my laptop. And for whatever reason, ASUS decided to include a single zone RGB keyboard on both of these laptops. So yeah, they're nice, but they're just not my cup of tea because I don't use RGB on my devices at all. So yeah. Oh, this laptop is the first one that I've seen that has the Copilot button. Yes, pressing this button will bring up the Copilot AI chatbot in Windows, but I'm not sure about its usability here. Other than just the usual Copilot chatbot features that we can tell it to do, we can also change system settings like turning off Bluetooth, but it's slow and, you've guessed it, requires an internet connection. Even turning on and off the Bluetooth needs internet connection. I have no idea why, since it should run on device directly. The trackpad is big and smooth and it tracks really well. The palm rejection is also good enough, so no complaints here. The upgradability is another thing that I quickly want to highlight as well. Both of these laptops, they're definitely not that easy to open up. The S14 has one hidden screw, whereby the S16 has two hidden screws. Once we got them open, they are pretty much identical inside. We can only swap out the SSD. The Wi-Fi card is totally soldered onto the motherboard, and so is the RAM. That is how they can achieve an insanely high speed. This is where I also realized that the S16 has the exact same motherboard layout as the S14. That means there are gonna be some unused space in the inside of this laptop. I mean, it's a cost-saving measure and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just something that they could have optimized to make use of that space better. For example, just put another M.2 SSD slot. That would be a lot better than what we have right now. The battery capacity is also identical at 75 Wh. Yes, both the 16-inch and 14-inch are using the exact same battery size, and that means the 16-inch is going to have a worse battery life compared to the S14 because of its higher resolution display and also higher refresh rate if they're using the same processor. Anyway, I mostly use the S14 in this test and I still can get around 6 to 7 hours throughout my usual web browsing, YouTube music, and occasional YouTube videos in the mix. Pretty good, honestly. Now, the best part about the new Vivobook S series though is the price. Both of these laptops, if equipped with the same Intel Core Ultra 5125H, it will start from around 4,399 ringgit for the S14 and 4,699 ringgit for the S16. As what I've said in the beginning of this video, they are surprisingly affordable. No cap, I thought this laptop is going to be at least somewhere around 5,000 ringgit Malaysia, given by how premium it actually looks and feels. We have a great metal design, a great specs, great screen, great keyboard and trackpad, great selection of ports, and also a great battery life. All this below 5,000 ringgit Malaysia is actually a good price. And if you're interested to check them out, then I'll leave you links down in the description below. And remember to subscribe because that will literally help us out a lot. So do let me know what you guys think about these two laptops in particular. For me, I know a lot of people will like a 16-inch laptop because of its bigger screen, but for me, I will still pick the S14 because of its portability. And since they both will offer the exact same specs and performance, yeah, I prefer this. But sometimes I do need a bigger screen, so maybe I will carry a portable monitor on top of the S14 to compensate the 14-inch screen. That would be better than carrying a 16-inch laptop all around. Yeah, they both weigh more or less the same as well. So, yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Really nice laptops.